All right, let's get this show started.
In today's news, Daniel Cormier makes a case for Sean Strickland's mental toughness being overlooked. Despite Strickland appearing emotionally charged ahead of Saturday, even going as far as threatening to stab du Plessis if he brought up his past again, Cormier praised Strickland's mental toughness on the DC and RC show and said he expects the champ to be level-headed when he fights the South African.
You know what's funny? I think that we as a sport overlook how mentally tough Sean Strickland is, because we talk about all of the things from the past, some of the absurd things that he might say, but the moment he gets into the octagon, he stays the course. RC, you made a great point there. He was talking about Israel Adesanya and dogs and all kind of crazy stuff in the build to the last fight. They stepped into the octagon, and he looked like he had no issue with Izzy. He was there to do a job, and he was going to do it in the best way possible. I think that is what's most overlooked about Sean Strickland, is because regardless of the emotional outbursts that he may have in the build to these fights, when he's in there, he fights with a game plan. And I don't anticipate that's going to change against DRICUS du Plessis.
DRICUS du Plessis has revealed what Strickland sent him in a direct message. Du Plessis and Strickland sat a few rows in front of each other at UFC 296, where some trash talking led to an eventual physical altercation. Shortly after their cage-side skirmish, Strickland revealed on his podcast that he sent a message to du Plessis, and at UFC 297's media day, the South African opened up on what was said in the text.
I was actually surprised that I saw him make it public that he did message me, because I didn't want to out him on that, but since we're talking about it. And he, so he said if there's anything that he shouldn't say, like he'll lay back. But if I bring up the thing with his of his childhood again, he said, I'll kill you and ruin your life and mine way before we step into the cage, something like that. That's exactly his words. So I'm like, okay, so this poor guy, this seems pretty serious. I feel bad for him. But I just replied and said, listen, there's nothing you can say that has any effect on me. Like, go crazy. You're talking about me kissing other dudes. I have more photos. I posted them online. I don't care. Jeez, you think I care? I'm completely comfortable with my sexuality. Have you seen my girl? My guy. Yeah. So I don't care about that. You know, me kissing my coach, kissing my dad, kissing my brothers. I don't feel like people saying, oh, that's gay. So what? I don't care. I love those people. That's my family. And, it doesn't really, there's nothing he can say that can get under my skin. There's a shield here. I'm the mentally strongest fighter in the world. And I told him, you can say literally whatever you want. All is fair in love and war. But I won't say anything about your child again. Cool.
PFL CEO has slammed UFC's planned Saudi Arabia debut. The Dana White-led promotion was scheduled to hold their first event in Saudi Arabia in March. However, earlier this week, the fight night was formally postponed to June. The announcement came around the same time that the PFL announced their card in the Middle East, slated for February. Appearing on the MMA Hour with Ariel Helwani, PFL executive Don Davis stated that the announcement wasn't a coincidence. In his eyes, the UFC attempted to put forth a poor fight card, which led to Saudi Arabia stepping in and wanting a better return on their investment. Davis is confident that this won't be the case for them in the future. On February 24th, he will head to Saudi Arabia to promote their first event in the form of PFL vs Bellator. The card features names such as Ryan Bader and Patricia Pitbull, as well as the return of Claressa Shields. Hear it from Davis.
I don't think it's any coincidence that the UFC March 2nd event was canceled the day before our fight event. Those who know MMA said that is not a mega event. That is not worthy of being hosted in Saudi Arabia. That is a poor fight quality card the UFC put forth on March 2nd. Could UFC load up a card and have a mega card? They could. Do they do it that often? They don't. We're going to do it every time we do it. And so our partners who are host partners, like Saudi Arabia, our partners who are pay-per-view partners like DAZN or ESPN Plus, they know they can count on us for these 2 fights a year. Best of the best of the best. So that's how we're thinking about it in terms of the business model going forward.
Brandon Schaub gives his prediction for Strickland vs du Plessis. Speaking on his Thick Boy podcast, Schaub made a short breakdown of the upcoming title fight between Strickland and Plessis and explained why he's got Strickland beating Plessis at UFC 297.
So the question is, what happens on Saturday's main event? So if Strickland can dictate the pace, he's going to blow DDP out of the water. If he can dictate the pace, just like he did with Izzy, just like he's done before, and avoid the big shot, which I think he's learned from the Alex Pereira fight not to play that game. If he can control the pace, if he can continue to put DDP on his back foot, he's going to blow the doors off DDP. I do have Sean Strickland winning this fight. I have him win this fight. I think he can TKO him in the 4th round. Sean Strickland's been in much bigger fights, so all signs to me point towards Sean Strickland, unless he gets caught, which can definitely happen, but my money would be on Sean Strickland. I think we can show him a little more respect. I think just going, Izzy had a bad night, Strickland's not that good, that ain't gonna work for me. The kid's damn good.
Sean Strickland has gone off on a Canadian reporter. Ahead of his title fight, Strickland was at Media Day when a reporter asked the middleweight champ about his past comments regarding the LGBTQ community. The reporter mentioned that Toronto is known for having a strong LGBTQ community, which Strickland wasn't thrilled about and proceeded to criticize. The reporter then asked Sean about his past comments on the trans community, which led the UFC middleweight champion to go on a rant.
Well, no, I'm asking, this is a part of, are you a man?
I'm an ally of the community.
Okay. If you had a son and he was like, you had a son, he was gay, you'd be like, oh man, you don't want a grandkid?
No problem with it.
Oh man, well, dude, you're a weak man, dude. You're part of the fucking problem. You elected Justin Trudeau. Like, when he sees the bank accounts, like, you're fucking pathetic. And the fact that you have no fucking backbone, and has he shut down your fucking country and seized bank accounts? You ask me some stupid shit like that? Fuck yourself. Move the fuck on. 10 years ago, to be trans was a mental fucking illness. And now all of a sudden, people like you have fucking weaseled your way into the world. You are an infection. You are the definition of weakness. Everything that is wrong with the world is because of you. And the best thing is the world's not buying it. The world's not buying your fucking bullshit you're fucking peddling. The world is not saying, you know what? You're right. Chicks have... The world's not saying that. The world's saying, no, there are 2 genders. I don't want my kids being taught about, who they could fucking school. I don't want my kids being taught about, their sexual preference. Like, dude, this guy is the fucking enemy. You want to look at the fucking enemy to our world? It's that motherfucker right there, asking these stupid fucking questions.
Time for today's top memes. The 3rd place pick was found over on Facebook and it was posted by Robert. 2nd place meme was found over on Instagram and was posted by a username BeaverSmashTV. And the top picked meme was also found over on Instagram and was posted by As Shopped As It Gets. Thank you guys for watching. If you liked the video, please leave a like and subscribe to our channel to keep up with the latest MMA news.